Today we wanted to talk a little bit about the difference in approach between the pre-primary years and the grade 1 and grade 2 classes. The 3 to 6 is a slightly different age group where children are still in their very, very early years of development. Almost all the materials in the lab are very individual by nature, like doing a number line or doing addition or doing the sandpaper tracing. It's a very, very individual activity where each child is working on a material separately, and there's a lot of emphasis on the fine motor skill at this stage because that's when the fingers are sort of getting developed to a large extent. As the child becomes 6, and in the 6 to 8 age group, the children themselves are more and more inclined to go towards peer learning. There's a lot more interaction and collaboration at the age of 6 to 8 between the children. They want to work with their friends. They want to see less of the teacher or less of the parent and more of their friends. So when you look at the Kreedo Lab, all our materials to a large extent are slowly gearing towards 4 children playing at a time. There's a lot of gaming involved. Homophones, for example, earlier would have been just saying the sounds OU or SH or the blend words are all about saying the words. Now it's about gaming with homophones where 4 children are playing and you're looking at 2 words that sound the same like DOE do and DOUGH do, and 4 children saying, hey, look, this sounds the same, and enjoying the game together and learning via gaming rather than being by themselves. In the early years, there's a lot of parallel play happening. I'll play with my material, you play with your material, but we won't touch each other's material. That's how children are between the age of 3 to 6. But as they go into the 6 to 8, they want to play with each other, they want to share things together, and that's really how the gaming approach has changed for us in the lab itself. Coming to the classroom, in the early years, there's a lot more emphasis in English, for example, on spellings, on the basics of reading and writing, on saying words. But as we move into grade 1 and grade 2, now it's more of learn by practice. There are sentences, there are paragraphs, there is a context like a story. We're expecting the child to understand the story. There is still spelling and reading and writing, but the emphasis is lower. Now it's more on the grammar, it's more on speaking, it's more on communication, and it's more on learning about things around us. So if you look at maths, for example, in the early years, in the pre-primary, we would have a lot of emphasis on getting very minute things exactly right, like simple addition with carryover, subtraction, small concepts independently aligned where you're understanding the concept via both lab as well as books. The same thing in grade 1 and 2 now is about applying addition, applying subtraction. So you have money problems. It's still addition, but now we're using money to add. We're saying I had 32 rupees, I got 5 more rupees, how much money do I have now? So it's about application of those concepts as we go forward. So for teachers, we would strongly recommend that you change your approach slightly more for children to be more participative in grade 1 and 2, give them more autonomy, give them more things that they can do on their own. Versus in pre-primary, you're still going to be the one holding the class together and you're still going to be the one driving the lesson forward. In grade 1 and 2, you will find a lot of times children want to express, they want to say their own ideas, they want to define the way the classroom is running. So do give them that little extra freedom between 6 and 8, because by this age, they're growing, they're developing, they have a lot of ideas, and it's a great way to encourage class participation as well as lab participation by having them work in groups and collaborate well together. So that was some of the very high level differences in approach between pre-primary and grade 1 and 2.